I would only ask Steve, you really bring it to a point, and we'll obviously be able to live to see if it happens, with all of these individuals who've been brought into the Obama administration, that you seem to conclude that Obama administration is going to be the administration that will move this whole subject from secrecy to the light of day. Is that what you're concluding?
Well, I'm raising some points that ought to be looked into. In other words, if Hillary Clinton was involved in the, for instance, the Rockefeller Initiative, which I consider a fairly significant event, and then goes on to run for president and be Secretary of State, and yet has never asked a single question about that, nor has anybody else. No one in that I mentioned before, other than Webster Hubbell, has ever been asked a question about the Rockefeller Initiative in their entire political careers since then, and as you know, they're all pretty powerful people, and I'm going to throw Al Gore in there as well. But I want to, if I could, take a little more benign perspective on this. I'm going to suggest that the vast majority of people that are working in the military intelligence complex are good people who want to protect the nation, and that the vast majority of people that go into serve in the Congress and serve the White House are also good people that want to see the nation go forward. And so if that's true, then how did we get where we are in its simplest terms? And I would boil it, and this is, I'm speaking now, I think, through and past you to the administration itself. I think what has happened that best describes the circumstances is that during the Cold War, this incredible time when we could have destroyed all of civilization, draconian measures were taken to deal with a number of things, including the extraterrestrial issue. And over time, the military intelligence complex, as is referred to, became very large, very heavily funded, very involved, and very important. And the American people knew, I don't know what you're doing down there, but do a good job because I don't want to die in a Russian nuclear explosion. Okay, or Soviet explosion. And the ET issue in particular was a major problem for them. And over the years, they slowly pulled this out from under the political leadership, out from under the president, out from under the Congress. Did Eisenhower know? Of course. Truman know? Of course. Nixon? We think so. But as you move closer to the future, they've separated it out and made it their own because it's just a lot easier to work with and it's so dangerous. Okay, fine. Meanwhile, what is going on? Well, the evidence is continuing to mount until finally the pressure is on everyone. You're going to have to do something, but they've painted themselves into a corner, and this is the corner, opposite corners, and this is where I think they are. The President of the United States, including key members of Congress, do not have the access to the information. Therefore, if they were to come forward and finally end this truth embargo, they would say, well, there's extraterrestrials here. I'd love to tell you more, but I can't get any information from the Army or the Navy or the CIA. But I'm telling you, trust me on this. That's not going to fly. Meanwhile, the military intelligence community, unless it's been changed since I last checked, isn't a fourth branch of government. It works for the president. The president is their commander-in-chief. And so if some bird colonel wakes up one Monday morning and says, you know, it's time for the American people to know the truth, and goes in front of the press and says extraterrestrials are here, he's just committed high treason. And he will pay a substantial price and damage the relationship between the military intelligence community and the executive branch for decades. And so they can't do it. The president can't do it. So now we're stuck. We're going nowhere. Yet they're good people, but they're tied up. What's the answer? It's actually a very simple answer. Enough pressure builds up on both the military intelligence community and the executive branch from foreign governments, from research, from witnesses coming forward, from events like this, until the president decides to select somebody that he trusts. I just might throw out the name John Podesta, just to give you a base mark there, whatever, to go and meet with an individual from the military intelligence community that represents the management committees that run this issue. There are cross-agency management committees, right, that meet with respect to certain aspects of this, and there's someone from each relevant agency, and that agency probably doesn't even know that person's on the committee. And that committee may not even know about this committee, but that's how they kind of run this, and it's very clean, it's very simple. Somebody representing that group meets with the president's representative, and they decide, what do you need? Mr. President, here's what we need. Here's how we want things to go, because we are concerned about how this may unfold and the national security. What can you do? And the president says, and what can you do for me? Can you provide me the key information so I won't be standing out there? And they have that meeting and they come to an agreement and they end this truth embargo. And that's, I think, the essence of where we are right now.
All I can say is you're a great optimist. And the statement you are making reminds me of a statement I think we all know, because they're all good people. They're good people in Congress, they're good people here at this table, they're good people out there. Well, for good people to do nothing, that's how evil comes about.
True.